Hello, and welcome to a new video. And this video is for you, America, because it's time to talk about who are the oldest people in Congress right now, America's oldest politicians. The political leadership of the United States, especially in Congress, are old senior citizens in their 80s and their 70s, and many of them are physically frail and in terrible health, and many of them are also mentally declining, and in some cases have dementia. And this needs to be talked about. I did some of my own research online on the internet to look up who are the oldest people right now who are currently in Congress and how long they've been in office and how old they are. So I'm going to go through a list right now and list these politicians. So currently the oldest person right now in U.S. Congress is Senator Chuck Grassley from Iowa. Chuck Grassley was born in 1933, and he has been in Congress since 1975. Chuck Grassley was in the House of Representatives from 1975 to 1980, and he's been a senator since 1981. That is just about 50 years in Congress. After Chuck Grassley, the second oldest person in Congress is Congresswoman Grace Napolitano from California. She was born in 1936. She's 88 years old, and she's been in Congress since 1999. She is retiring as of 2024, so she will leave office at the beginning of 2025. Following her is the deceased Congressman Bill Pascrell from New Jersey. Bill Pascrell was born in 1937, and he died in office this year in the summer of 2024 in August. He was in Congress from 1997 until he died in office in August 2024. He died in office. The people kept re-electing him till he died. After him is Congressman Hal Rogers from Kentucky. Hal Rogers was born in 1937. He is currently 87 years old, and he has been in Congress since 1981. That's over 40 years. After Hal Rogers is Congresswoman Maxine Waters from California. Maxine Waters was born in 1938. She's 86 years old. She's been in Congress since 1991. And she keeps running for office and has no plans of retiring. After Maxine Waters is Congressman Steny Hoyer from New York. Steny Hoyer was born in 1939. He's 85 years old. And Hoyer has been in Congress since 1981. So he's been in Congress for over 40 years. All the Congress people I just mentioned were born in the 1930s. Now, the next people I'm going to name who are the oldest people in Congress were born in the 1940s. Starting with Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi of California. Nancy Pelosi was born in 1940, and she has been in Congress since 1987. Nancy Pelosi also was Speaker of the House twice. And in December 2024, Pelosi had a bad fall while on a visit in Europe and had to have a hip replacement, which shows she is not doing well in health. After Nancy Pelosi is Congressman Jim Clyburn from South Carolina. Jim Clyburn was born in 1940. He's been in office in Congress since 1993. Then there's Congressman Danny Davis from Illinois. He was born in 1941, and he's been in Congress since 1997. Next is Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont. Bernie Sanders is well known for having tried to run for President of the United States twice in 2016 and 2020. Bernie Sanders was born in 1941, and he's 83 years old now. Bernie Sanders has been in Congress since 1991. He was in Congress from 1991 until he became a senator of Vermont in 2007. After Bernie Sanders is Congressman John Carter from Texas, who was born in 1941. And he's been in Congress since 2003. Next is Senator Mitch McConnell from Kentucky. Mitch McConnell has been the senator from Kentucky since 1985. McConnell's 82 years old and is in very poor health. He had polio as a child. Now Mitch McConnell has been having several incidents where he has fallen down and hit his head. McConnell is now in a wheelchair because he has difficulty walking and standing. He is falling down frequently now. McConnell also once froze on camera during a news conference. And yet McConnell, what has been the Senate Republican leader since 2007. The people of Kentucky keep re-electing him. So I just listed who are some of the oldest people right now in U.S. Congress. But also what I want to mention is in 2024, 3 members of Congress died in office. And those people were, who I previously mentioned, Congressman Bill Pascrell from New Jersey, who was born in 1937 and died in the summer of 2024. And he had been in office since 1997. He died at 87. Then there's also Sheila Jackson Lee from Texas. She was born in 1950 and died in 2024. Sheila Jackson Lee was in Congress from 1995 until her death in 2024. So she was in office for 29 years, and she died from pancreatic cancer. And then there's Donald Payne from New Jersey. Donald Payne was born in 1958 and died in 2024 from a heart attack. He was in office from 2012 until his death in 2024. Another sad case to mention in Congress is Congresswoman Kay Granger from Texas. Kay Granger from Texas is not dead, but she has a terrible case of dementia. She was born in 1943. She's 81 years old, and she's been in Congress since 1997. But she ended up developing dementia and getting so lost and confused she didn't know where she was. And she has been missing from Congress since July 2024. She hadn't shown up to work since July 2024, but the truth and information about this didn't come out until December 2024. So she was put in a senior living center for people with Alzheimer's in July 2024, but she didn't retire, she didn't step down from office, and her family and her staffers covered it up and pretended that everything was fine and lied to the people in her district in Texas. And people didn't know what was going on. And instead of having her step down and retire, they had her continue still being the congresswoman, even though she could no longer mentally do the job, and never showed up to Congress again and never did any more votes, and was so incapacitated that she's in a senior living home. She's only retiring as of January 3rd, 2025, even though she should have retired a long time ago, and her staffers and family lied to the people in Texas about how she's doing. A country is in decline when the political leadership of the country is old, frail, declining, and dying. And that is what's happening in the United States. And the American people, American voters, keep voting for it. American voters throughout all the 50 states keep re-electing the same people in office until they die in office, and so nothing changes for the better. If you're a person who's always talking about the need for term limits, you'll never see it, because only Congress can make an amendment to impose term limits on Congress, and career politicians who want to stay in office forever will never pass such an amendment. And if you keep voting for the same politician over and over again, you have no business talking about term limits, because you're not actually interested in it.